Hello everybody and welcome to Tiger Tales The Lost Stories, a place you'll find stories and fanfictions written and read to you by your host, me, Tiger. Today we're diving into the Colour Matrix, a storyline where we have Ace, a person who logs himself into the Colour Matrix, a device that allows you to live 8 hours of your actual body's time in the body of an alternate version of yourself. Think of James Cameron's Avatar or Sword Art Online. That sort of thing, but you're hijacking yourself in alternate universes. And Ace's job as a mystery is to explore the multiverses that are given to him and, of course, log it down. So let's dive in with today's chapter. Ace has found a cluster of universes all grouped together where he's in each one revolved in the hidden sand village. So let's dive in. The Colour Matrix, World 6, a grain of sand, a grain of hope. I woke up and did my usual routine, and then I found my way to the Colour Matrix and opened the console. There was a small cluster of universes which circled each other, and they all revolved the same lands hidden within various elements. Ninjas fought to kill or to protect, and there was always some higher power in play. I was not allowed to stay within the same coloured universes for far too long. Sparks didn't want me to draw attention to myself or for me to get too comfortable, so I decided to take on one, maybe two more of the universes within the cluster, then maybe go try something else. Seemed like all of them had myself hailing from the hidden sand village. I closed my eyes and picked one at random. "Alright, Daisy, this one," I said out loud as I opened my eyes, pointing at one random universe within the cluster.
"Yes, sir. Here you are the leader of the army of the 4th Great Ninja War, where all the villages teamed up to fight Madara Uchiha, a reborn ninja, a ninja brought back from the dead, and you are the Kazekage, the leader of the Hidden Sand Village, and now you lead the whole world to war,"
Daisy told me. "Oh shit, okay, I like it, let's go." I grinned. I was excited about this one. As Daisy loaded the universe into the Matrix, I stripped off my shirt and laid on the bed. The needles punctured my fingertips and the back of my neck, and everything went dark as Daisy read me my vital signs. I woke up and I sat against a tree. Tents surrounded me, ninjas preparing themselves for war. I stood and I dusted myself off. I grabbed my gourd that was full of sand and I strapped it to my back, and then walked over to the main table where several ninjas stood there discussing battle plans. "Hey there," I muttered. "Lord Kazekage," they all bowed. "Please, Ace is fine." "What is going on here then?" I asked. "White Zetsu have been seen in massive numbers here and here," one of the ninjas told me, pointing at 2 different spots on the map before her. "We have Kakashi in the forest ready, and of course, Ace, you'll be leading us here," another ninja known as Ino told me. I was then led to a cliff where before me was thousands upon thousands of ninja, all waiting for me to say something inspiring. I took a deep breath in. "Hello all. Yesterday, we all arrived from our homes, our villages, and I, the Kazekage, stand here before you. But today, we do not stand as separated villages or individual ninjas. Today, we stand as one." I started, but suddenly there was a massive fireball that hit the ground, killing several ninjas, injuring even more. We looked up to see Madara falling down from a great height in the sky, then several hundred white Zetsus crawled out of the ground, bursting from the rocks and started attacking the stunned ninjas. All of us ninjas on the cliff jumped off and everyone started weaving hand signs. Several fire blasts, jet streams of water, bursts of lightning, giant boulders and shards of ice flew across the plains as ninjas started mowing down the Zetsus. I landed on the ground and weaved some hand signs together myself. "Sand style! Giant sand slap!" I called out. Then some of the sand maneuvered its way out of my gourd and formed into a giant hand, which swept across the field, smacking several Zetsu off their feet. One of the Zetsus ran straight at me. It threw a punch. I caught its fist and struck it in the shoulder before kicking it back. Then I jumped up, kicked another one in the head. I launched myself into the air and weaved several more hand signs together. "Sand style! Desert bullet barrage jutsu!" I called out. Then the sand in my gourd moved up into the air and into a big ball. Then I threw my hands out towards the several Zetsu that were on the ground, trying to jump up towards me. Then the sand ball above me exploded into several bullets of sand which rained down on the Zetsus, barraging them to the ground. Then I landed on the ground and a scream pierced the sky. I turned around to see Ino in trouble. Her teammates, Shikamaru and Choji, were being torn down by the overwhelming power of the number of Zetsus. I needed to pull the three of them together and help them out. Their combo attack was needed in this war. I ran at Ino, slid across the ground, pulling out a couple of shuriken and throwing them at the Zetsus. The shuriken struck each one of them, then I launched up and double kicked the last one in the head, throwing it off its feet. I offered my hand to Ino, she took it, and I pulled her to hers. There are some ninja needing some medical assistance. I'll go save your teammates. Please help the medical ninjas, I ordered. Right, Ino nodded. Then she launched herself off and ran at some of the medical ninjas and joined in on the healing of some of the wounded. I then turned to Joji, who had tripled in size due to his expansion jutsu. I noticed his entire body had been swarmed by Zetsu. I ran up to Joji who was struggling to fight off their grip, so I pulled out several kunai with paper bombs tied to them. I then threw them at the white Zetsus that encased Joji. The kunai hit some of the Zetsus and the paper bombs exploded. Some of the white Zetsus fell to the floor. I then weaved several hand signs together. Sand style, sand clone, desert army jutsu, I called out. Then more sand piled out of my gourd and spilled to the floor, and the pile of sand started shifting into clones of me. Each clone took a kunai off me, and they all ran at Joji. The clones jumped up and stabbed the Zetsus, making them drop to the ground. Joji, can you move? I called out. Kinda, Joji said with a struggle. Can you shrink back down to normal at least? I asked. Wait, that's a great idea, Joji gasped. Then he deactivated his jutsu, shrinking back to normal. The white Zetsu all dropped to the ground. One of my sand clones tackled Joji to the ground as I weaved more hand signs together. Sand style, desert twister jutsu, I barked. Then the sand spun around in a small tornado and spun towards the group of white Zetsu as they climbed to their feet, throwing them around the place. Joji climbed to his feet and ran up to me. Thanks, Lord Kazekage, Joji said with a grin. No need to thank me, but I could use your help. There are ninjas who need someone to help them tip the war in their favor, I told him. I'm your man, Lord Kazekage. Just make sure Shikamaru gets safe, okay? Joji replied. Don't worry, just give me a minute, I said as I glared over at Shikamaru, trying to keep himself up against the Zetsu attacking him. Joji nodded at me and ran off to join his fellow ninja in the war. I then bolted off and ran to Shikamaru's aid. I jumped up, flipped over the crowd full of white Zetsus, and landed next to Shikamaru. Lord Kazekage, why are you helping us? You need to watch over the war, Shikamaru grunted. I do not let anyone down, including those from our fellow villages, I told him. I like your style, Shikamaru grinned. I then threw several paper bombs, which all exploded. Shikamaru then jumped up and kicked one in the back. I then came up with an idea. I formed a hand sign and knelt down to one knee. The sand I had used from starting the fight all started moving towards us and formed above us, making a solid platform above us, which formed a massive shadow underneath, covering the white Zetsus as they stood directly in the shade. Shikamaru got the hint and weaved his hand signs together. Shadow Stitches Jutsu, he called out, and the shadow moved, striking the white Zetsu, holding them all into place. I then jumped up and threw several paper bombs, and they exploded, rippled through one another, destroying the group of Zetsus before us. I landed next to Shikamaru. Nice trick, and thanks for the save, Shikamaru told me. No problem. Now go help your team, I ordered. Right, Shikamaru nodded. Then he bolted off and joined his teammates. Then I saw the other Kage, the leaders of the other villagers, facing off Madara in the distance. I bolted off, and in a few strides, I joined the Kage. Nice of you to join us, Ace, the Raikage grunted. I couldn't let you take all the glory, I grinned. Focus! This is Madara we are talking about, the Mizukage barked. He has a point, the Lady Hokage muttered. Madara stood before us with a devilish grin on his face. Stop now, Madara, and you can ease your sentence, the Hokage offered. Never. I wait my time. First, I have a few guests for my reunion, Madara chuckled. Then suddenly a few figures appeared next to Madara. All their eyes were black and hollow without life. They had been reborn through the reanimation jutsu. I recognised most of them. They were previous Kages, the ones who died and left their villages to us current Kage. All 5 of us stood there facing someone of the past. Whether the Kage knew the deceased standing before them was unknown to me, but I did know the Kage before me, the dead man who knew me so well. He looked pleased to see me, almost proud of me, but his fists were clenched like he was ready to fight. "Hello, Ace. I see you made Kage after all," the man said. "Yes, father. I did," I told him. Everyone dropped in their fighting stances, and then everything went black. I woke up and the needles extended out of my body as I sat up.
How are you, sir?
Daisy asked me. "Yeah, that one felt strange," I muttered.
That might be due to the echo effect.
Daisy replied. "The echo what?" I questioned.
As you know, the multiverses all span off a central point. We call these prime universes. We are unable to touch those. Well, some versions of you have replaced the lives of those that were significant importance to the universe's timeline.
Daisy explained. "Oh, wait, so who did I replace this time?" I asked her.
A man called Gara, the Jinchuriki to the one-tailed beast and the Kazekage. At the time, he was one of the leading factions of the Great Fourth Ninja War.
Daisy told me. "Oh yeah, he was my sensei in the first war we went to in that cluster," I noted. I did not like the feeling that it left with me. Replacing someone, having my existence, replacing another, not literally. I didn't know how I felt with having other versions of myself holding such responsibility, but I did find it strange. And there you have it, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this chapter of the Colour Matrix, and there are plenty more coming to you guys real soon. The Colour Matrix is a fantastic idea because I get to play around with all different sort of fictions that I'm a huge fan of. Make sure you check out Tiger Tales Game Over, another Tiger Tales channel with more fan fictions, but all of them revolve around video games. There's a Colour Matrix story, the same Colour Matrix story on that channel, but all the stories revolve around video game worlds, data worlds as we call them, so make sure you check out that channel as well. I have other channels too, Tiger Tales Mysterious Origins. Both of them have more fan fictions, and Mysterious Origins have original stories. Then there's Tiger Tales X, where I get 2 storylines and cross them over. For example, Ben 10 Alien Force and Doctor Who. A huge shout out to A Crown on TikTok and his YouTube channel, The Author's Crown. That's where he uploads his stories. He's been helping out a lot with the Colour Matrix ideas and helping me build up the plots for them, so a huge shout out to him. Make sure you check out the Tiger Nexus podcast, the Zero to Hero podcast, and If You Give a Dad a podcast. Thank you everybody for watching, and I shall see you guys real soon.
That before we can...
Don't touch my Pringles.